All right, hey, what's up, hockey fans? Let me just make sure my mic's working. All right, hopefully the mic's working now, but hey again, hockey fans. This is going back to my preseason predictions of how the regular season was going to go, in my opinion, which I already knew was going to be horrifically wrong, and guess what? It's horrifically wrong. So, what is up on the screen right now, let me just make sure it's pulled up. This is what I predicted, going from left to right. So Toronto in the Atlantic, I have them first, and then Tampa second, Florida third, all the way down to Montreal at eighth. So that's how the order of all this works. In the Metro, I have Carolina first, with Philly in eighth. Pacific, I have Edmonton first, with Seattle at eighth. Oof. And then the Central, the Avs are winning it, and then the Coyotes in eighth. So that's just how it looks for now. But I'm going to go over how I'm doing in the mid-season. So I'm basically going to reset the whole list, and then one by one, we're going to kind of try to go by according to how I think my updated rankings of how I think the season is going to look at the end of the regular season. So let's reset all this. And, oh, great. Well, all my division stuff just went away, so that's just fantastic. But uh, I'll just relabel this in just a second. But basically, let's just have the A for Atlantic. We'll keep the C down there as Central. Yeah, this is our Metro, so we'll just leave it as an M. And this is our Pacific, so we'll just put a P here for now. All right. So we're going to start off in the Atlantic, of course, again. And the team that I had finishing eighth was Montreal. And guess what? They're still in eighth. Where are they? So I have Montreal. They're going to be in eighth place. My update on Montreal really is that they did start strong, but man, have they fallen off lately, and now they are in last place. Uh, I really don't see them making a major move. They're probably going to still need to sell. I think Gallagher's hurt, so good luck moving him. But yeah, Montreal is in eighth. All right, in my preseason ranks, I had Buffalo, but guess what? Buffalo gets to move up, so good for them. Uh, so who do I have in seventh now? Well, it's kind of between two teams, and I would yeah, probably gonna go with who is in seventh right now, and that is Ottawa. So, just as an update, I am fairly surprised that DJ Smith is still the head coach in Ottawa. I mean, I don't know how he's staying there. Um, it doesn't seem that they can really ever get momentum. They can't string together victories. I mean, there is still time to make it kind of interesting, but I just don't see it happening for them. All right, so last in my preseason ranks for sixth place, I had Boston. Think I was a little off on that one. Just a smidge. So they are definitely not in my. They're not in sixth place in my new prediction. My new prediction, and man, it really hurts to put them here, but I think it's Florida. And man, I don't want to put them there, but I kind of feel I have to. Uh, I mean, they were always gonna take a step back from where they were last year. Last year, President's Trophy winning. Come on, they weren't gonna do that again. But seriously, right now, I think they're either fifth or sixth in the Atlantic. they're really low in the conference. Paul Maurice has not been a fit at all. Losing Uyghur and Huberto, that really, really hurt team chemistry. And maybe, the injury to Declare, uh, losing Mason Marchment. Yeah, man, it's just bizarre. Anyway, so in fifth place, and I think it's the same team that I had in fifth place before. Yep, I think Detroit. I think Detroit finishes in fifth in this division. I don't know if it's good enough for a playoff spot. Uh, they're six. I think they're either fifth or sixth in division right now, and seriously, they haven't quite taken that next step that I think almost all of us thought they would. Not that that means that they're off course, but they got to put it together if they want to try to make a playoff push. But even if they don't, it's not the end of the world. All right. So next up, uh, yeah, last year in fourth place, or not last year, but in my preseason ranks for fourth place, I had Ottawa. But I think in my new prediction for fourth, and I had them all the way down in what I think I predicted that they would finish seventh. Yeah, it's the Buffalo Sabres. Now, I don't exactly think that Buffalo is quite ready to really make noise in the playoffs. They really don't have the goaltending, even if the goaltending is playing pretty decently. Um, but they have a forward core, and their defense is pretty decent. So if they finish in fourth, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Uh, all right, next up, I had the Panthers ranked third in my preseason rankings. Oof. And for this for for this midseason in third, I mean it's pretty much between two teams. So I'm gonna go with who's in third right now. That's the Lightning. Uh, yeah, they just keep doing what they do. They're good. They're really good. They're sitting securely in that third spot. There's a chance they can move up ahead of Toronto, but Tampa, they usually get once they get secure in their playoff spot, they can kind of let the depth players get some more ice time. They can definitely kind of ease up a little bit, save their energy for the playoffs, kind of thing. So um, all they really need to do is probably just keep going at NHL 500, and they're pretty much a lock for the playoffs. All right, but anyway, so uh, yeah, for my preseason, I had Tampa third, and I still have them third. For second place, and I had Toronto winning the division this year, but they're in a very good second place right now. Um, they did start out pretty rough. People were really questioning them, but then they just went on a tear, and there's still some bumps in the road here and there, but yeah, they should basically be a lock for the playoffs. Of course, the big question with them is what do they do in the playoffs? But this is for regular season, and yeah, I'm fairly certain they're going to finish in the top three, and I think it's pretty easy to say that they'll finish in second. All right, and that leaves the team that I initially thought was going to finish in sixth place. Sixth place, I thought, but nope. What are they? They're just the best team in hockey so far. I'm glad I didn't pick them to be dead last. I mean, a lot of people thought they were gonna kind of fall off a cliff this year, and just hasn't happened. So I guess congrats to Boston. I don't think anyone expected them to be in the spot they are. Um, I would be pretty surprised if they don't win the division. I mean, never count out Toronto and Tampa, but Tampa knows to no, they know when to turn it on, and they also know when to conserve. So I doubt Tampa will overtake it, and they're fine with that. Uh, I don't really see Toronto making a major take, or at least catching up in a major way. So yeah, well done, Boston. And then as for grading my prediction for this, I mean, I got the Bruins wrong for sure. The Sabres, yeah, I was kind of off on, but and you could say Ottawa as well. You know, Ottawa and Buffalo are basically switching places. Florida, yeah, they're a bit off too. But I would give myself for predicting this. I guess I'd give myself a C plus. So, so that's my own grade for myself. All right. Anyway, now on to the Metro. Um, the team, the team that I predicted in last place was Philly, but the team I'm going to put in last, and this is a big shocker, and it's a team I actually had. Man, it I had them in fourth, but in last place, it's Columbus, and it has to be. I mean, dumpster fire is putting it lightly. Um, just the injuries that destroyed this team. The goaltending is just, it's been pretty bad. I don't think it's been as bad lately as it was early in the year, but man, it still is not good. Um, the only thing they'll be contending for is Bedard or Fantilli or Michkov. That's what they're contending for. So I'm fairly sure they'll be a bottom five team. Uh, next up, uh, for seventh place, I initially had the Islanders, but I'm not going to have them that low because that honor has to go to the team that I originally predicted in eighth place, but now they move up one, and that's the Flyers. Uh, Flyers, they really haven't been as bad as some people might have thought. They haven't been quite as bad, but they're still not a playoff team. They're not near playoff contention. Yeah, they're not going to make it. So whatever. All right, next up in sixth place. Initially in sixth place, I had who was it? My initial one was the Capitals in sixth place, but I'm putting the team that I initially had in seventh place, which was the Islanders. Uh, the Islanders haven't really been that bad. Just the Metro is ridiculously good. Um, they have been decent. The defense and goaltending is pretty darn solid there. I mean, Sorokin, jeez, man. If he doesn't get Vezina contention this year, I don't know what to say. But seriously, the Islanders need, if they really want to make a push, they have to get Barzell some help up front. I don't know if Bevelier and Wallstrom, I don't know if they're enough. So, yeah, Islanders, sixth place. For me, for fifth place in this division, that's a tough one. Because then it's between two teams, and you can interchange them all day. But yeah, I'm going with the team that I initially thought would be sixth place, but now I have them in fifth place, and that's the Capitals. Um, they started off a bit sluggish, and yes, the injury bug has bit them pretty bad. Um, with Tom Wilson, with Nick Backstrom, I think even John Carlson. But Ovechkin, he's still doing Ovechkin things, and I think right now they're fourth in the division, but they are far from safe though, far from safe, and it's really just because the division is so good. All right, so that means next up. In fourth, the fourth place is the team I originally had in fifth place, and that's the Penguins. Now, right now, the Penguins are in fifth place in the division, but they're right behind Washington, uh, and they're still pretty good in the conference overall. Uh, Injuries haven't exactly been kind to them either, and they are on a slippery slope, but you never know. I mean, Crosby and Malkin, and even with some of that depth, Gensel and Rust, uh, and if Letang can come back, and if Dumoulin can find his form again, I mean, this is still a team that can do damage. You never know. All right, so up in third place now. This is a team that I had in third place, and I still think they're gonna eventually settle in third. That's New Jersey. Now, I do feel that I was too nice on them at my preseason rank by putting them third, but I feel justified in doing it. Um, they started their first what 2 or 3 games with a couple of stinkers, but then they went on a tear, and they're still somewhat maintaining it. They had a little rough patch for a little bit there, but they're still good. And if their defense can get healthy with what is it, Marino and uh, not Siegenthaler. I think there's another guy, Graves, I think. So if they can get healthy and if they can really settle in with the goalie, uh, this is a dangerous team. Those forwards, man, holy jeez. And right now they're second in division, but I'm not sure if they'll maintain it. But I can definitely see them getting into the playoffs. So that means the team that I had in second place, they're still in second place. And that's the Rangers. And right now they're in third in the division. And they did have a pretty bumpy beginning to the year, but it seems that they've righted that ship. Shosturkin is not, he hasn't been what he was last year. He's not exactly stealing games, but they're still winning more than they lose. And for now, they seem pretty safe being in third, and I think they'll probably move up into second. And that means that the team I predicted to win the Metro, well, I still have them predict. I'm still predicting them to win the Metro, and that's of course Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah, they're right where they belong. Uh, the goaltending is so it's a weird situation. Uh, I can't think of his name right now. The young kid who they might have to send down. He's been incredible. So that really leaves a tough decision between who is it, Ranta and Freddie Anderson. Ugh, that's gonna be a weird decision. So they have to make the right choice there. They have to do the right thing. But outside of that, their depth is incredible. Um, they are far from having the Metro sewn up, but I'm still favoring them. I'm still giving them the best chance to win the Metro. So yeah, I was as in terms of a grade, giving myself for grading the Metro. I was way off on Columbus. I know. Uh, but I feel I was really close to every other team. So I'm giving myself a B minus on predicting this division. Um, yeah, the Columbus pick. Ugh. Everything else, though, I think is pretty close. But anyway, so next up we have the Pacific. Um, yeah, this one's rough. Uh, for my preseason prediction, I had Seattle finishing in last, and that looks horrific now because bravo to the Kraken. Um, but yeah, the team that has to be in eighth in the Pacific has to be the Ducks. It has to be. This team is just ugh, they're another dumpster fire. Their defense is just abysmally atrocious. Uh, Safe to say they weren't going to be good anyway. We all knew they weren't going to be good, but man, I'd be shocked, completely shocked if they don't finish in the bottom five of the league. Um, yeah, my preseason prediction I had them seventh, and now we have them eighth. Uh, in seventh place, we're gonna put the team that is currently in sixth place in the division, and that's San Jose. Well, they're seventh currently, but I had them in sixth place in the preseason. But yeah, I'm predicting them to finish seventh now. Uh, yeah, the Sharks just started out so bad, so bad. What was it? Their first 10 games, or it was something ridiculous before they got their first win. Uh, I mean, now they can manage to have some solid outings here and there, but it's not going to be enough. I don't know if they're going to finish bottom five in the league, but yeah, they're going to be one of the bottom two teams in the Pacific. All right, next up, I guess it's a team that I don't know why, but I thought they were going to finish third in the division, but now I'm putting them at six, and that's Vancouver. Oops. I can't believe I had them in third in my preseason prediction. Uh, they just can't seem to get out of their own way, honestly. Um, they've had to deal with their fair share of injuries, especially Demko. Uh, I don't know, but it just feels that there's this weird sort of disaster. You know, that's what they feel like. Just this weird disaster, and I don't really see them moving much higher than sixth. I don't think they'll fall to seventh, but you never know. This is such a weird team. All right, so that means in fifth place. Oh man, this is tough. This is pretty darn tough. I think I have to go. Yeah, I'm going with the Flames, and I predicted them in fourth. I predicted them being in fourth, and now I'm moving them down to fifth. Uh, Even in my preseason prediction, I said that they needed to start quickly, and they did. I thought they were 5-1 in their first 6 games or something, and they were looking good. Uh, but however, they've they've just been very mediocre. They continue to just let let points slip away, let wins slip away. It doesn't seem as if they can really gain momentum or get on a really good winning streak. Um, they're in fourth place right now, I believe, in the division, but I don't know. That's a pretty precarious hold they have on it. All right, so we're up to number four now. This one's really tough for me because there's a team I want to put here, but it would look pretty bad. But I just don't think they can maintain what they've been doing. So don't hate me for this, but in fourth place, I'm actually going to put the Kraken. So right now, the Kraken are looking really good, and my full props to them. Bravo. Uh, right now, they're third in the division, and it looks as if they can make a serious push to get to the top of that division. I just don't think they're gonna do it. I'm just not sure if the goaltending is gonna hold up. I'm just not sure about it. They might. I mean, Martin Jones. Say what you will about him, and then uh, Grubauer. I think he's been having a decent year, especially after the nightmare season he had last year. Uh, for Seattle, yeah, I just don't know if they can hang on. I don't know if they can hang on to third. I don't know if they can hang on to a playoff spot, but they're looking good right now. So, my congratulations to you, Seattle. All right, next up for third place, it's actually the team that I thought was going to win the division, but they've been disappointing, as they do. And that's Edmonton. Yeah, preseason, I thought they were going to win the division. And seriously, a team with the amount of star power that they have, there really is no excuse for being currently fifth in the division, even though they're kind of right there. They have had some injuries. Hello, Evander Kane. Um, the goaltending has been pretty much a letdown. I mean, Jack Campbell, eek. Stuart Skinner has kind of, you know, he's kind of helped out where he can, but I don't know, man. They need to right this ship quickly. I think they'll get in the third, but my preseason prediction of them winning the division, that's not happening. All right, so that means second place. Oh, but yeah. And this is a team I picked to finish fifth in the division. And now I'm gonna have them second. And right now, currently, the Golden Knights are in first in the division, and they've kind of looked a little middling lately. Um, but they still have Bruce Cassidy as their coach. Uh, he's somehow getting so much out of that goalie tandem in Vegas with Logan Thompson and who is it, Aiden Hill, I think. So yeah, I give most of the credit to Bruce Cassidy. Um, I don't, but I don't think they're going to be a whole in that division lead. But I'm fairly sure they'll finish in the top three and make the playoffs. And that means that number one the team I actually had, I predicted finishing them. I predicted finishing number two in the division. Now I have them winning it straight up, and that's the Kings. Uh, they're basically right where I thought they'd be. They're currently second in division. They've played a lot more games than most teams, but their points percentage is pretty decent. Uh, getting to second was a little tricky. They had some letdown games, but lately they've been turning it on pretty well. For me personally, their goaltending is still kind of a big question mark. They still have Cal Peterson signed for what, another 2 years after this. Um, and even if Copley is playing well, I think I saw that he's already 30, and he might be turning 31 soon. So I'm not sure if he's necessarily the answer. And if Quick goes off into the sunset, the only goaltender they really have signed next year is Cal Peterson. So yeah, I mean, but for now, Copley seems to have found a groove. The team seems to have found a groove. I'm a fan of their forward core and their defense. And yeah, they can probably win the division if the goaltending holds up. So, my grade for myself on this, I did not do well. I had Seattle last. They're doing pretty darn well. I had Vancouver way high. They're not doing too hot. The Oilers and Calgary, middling. Um, yeah, my grade, it's not great. I gave myself a C minus for the Pacific. I didn't do too hot here. Even with Vegas, I had them way low. Anyway, let's go on to the Central. So, last place, eighth place, the team I actually had finishing seventh. What a big difference. My team, the Blackhawks. Uh, this team would be an even bigger mess than they are if it wasn't for Luke Richardson, the head coach. And even he can even with him, they're still, if not the worst team, then bottom two or bottom three. Um, it's hard for him to get a whole lot out of these players because a lot of them are kind of mismatched, not exactly great. There's some hope there here and there, but eh, they're easily going to finish bottom five, and I'm almost assured that they're going to finish bottom three and probably last. Uh, Next up, in seventh place, the team I actually had in sixth place. I mean, a team I actually had in last place for my prediction, but they're going to move up to seventh, and that's the Coyotes. Um, even if they are seventh place, that doesn't make them pushovers, though. They're not exactly an easy out. They can give almost any team in the league some problems if they're not taken seriously. But yeah, they're probably going to finish bottom five. Probably. All right, the rest of this division is really tough to predict. It's it's almost impossible. Um, I'll try my best though. Uh, in sixth place, yeah, for me, it's the Blues, and I had them. I predicted that they were going to finish second. I hate the Blues, and I still predicted they would finish second. What the heck is going on there? Uh, they are the streakiest team of the season. Um, it's basically a roller coaster just watching them. Win a bunch in a row, lose even more in a row, then win quite a few, lose a couple. Ugh, it's just weird. The injury bug has bit them. Um, there's an O'Reilly and Tarasenko and Krug. I think they're all out with injury. I think Falk may have missed time. So they've had some problems. They've had some injury problems for sure. But still, man, I expected them to be higher. I think right now they're fourth in the division, but I don't know if they can even hold that spot. So that means next up in fifth, man, it's really between two teams, and I guess I might have to bite the bullet on this one. Yeah, and that's Nashville. I initially had Nashville in third place, but I'm putting them in fifth. Uh, they're just a weird team. They can have a hot week, then they have a cold week, and then back and forth and back and forth. I think right now they are fifth in the division. There is still time to figure it out for them. I mean, they still have UC Saros, they still have Roman Yossi, um, they still have Philip Forsberg, but I don't know, man. Just a weird, weird team. All right, so that means in fourth, this is a team that I predicted to be in fifth, I think. Yeah. And yeah, it's the Wild. Even for the Wild, I feel they kind of started the season kind of slow and kind of bad. They were allowing a lot of goals, but they've tightened it up pretty decently, and they've picked up quite a few wins lately. So it's it's looking all right. I mean, there are still some deficiencies, and their hold on third place, I think it's very shaky right now. It would be nice for Minnesota. They had some cap space to help solidify the team. Ugh, that's just that whole thing is just ridiculous. All right, so that means next up in third, and it feels weird putting him here, but I think I have to. And this is a team I picked to win the Central. That's the Avs. I guess I have them in third. I mean, right now they're what in sixth, and they seem very out of sync. They're they've had a lot of injuries too, um, especially the Landeskog injury. They had to deal without McKinnon for a while. Uh, they just they need to hold it together, man. They need to get back on track. They're still not that far out, honestly. So hopefully, if Landeskog comes back soon, or hopefully even if just McKinnon can get back on track, and if this team can start clicking again, then who knows? Who knows what they can do? But for me, I have them finishing third, even though they're in sixth now. So that means next up, man, I don't even know who I want to have win this division because it's weird. Uh, I I guess second, and I had them in sixth. That's the Jets, and it's really hard to go against the Jets here. The head coach, Bonus, he's really done an incredible job with this team because it seemed as if this team was going to be in turmoil the whole year, uh, stripping Blake Wheeler of the captaincy, and it just seemed as if that locker room might just blow up. But instead, they've actually kind of come together, and they've even had a lot of injuries. What is it? Wheeler, Ellers, Appleton. I think there was even a defenseman here in there. But man, they've still been impressive. Hellebuck is still playing like he's back to Vezina form. He's just playing out of his mind. They need to make sure they don't overplay him, though. They need to make sure he gets rest. Because if anything happens to Hellebuck, oh boy, oh baby, I think that defense is going to be a little exposed if Hellebuck, if anything happens to him, if he goes cold or if he gets dinged up. Oh man, I still don't think the defense is that bad, but man, Hellebuck is just a wall back there. So that means our division champ for the Central, and this is the team I predicted finishing fourth. Yeah, the Dallas Stars. I still think they're an enigma, and yeah, they are atop the Central. I'm not fully convinced that they can hold on to it, but with how the other teams are, I guess Dallas is just going to do it. Um, I think it really just boils down to I'm just not a believer in Peter DeBauer, or DeBoer, whatever his name is. I'm really not that much of a believer in him. Um, I don't think that this team is exactly super deep. The defense, I think, can be a little suspect from time to time. But seriously, it's almost all covered up by Ottinger and by the top line of Rope Hintz, Jason Robertson, and Joe Pavelski. And Jamie Benn having somewhat of a resurgence has helped too. Um, so, good luck to you, Dallas. Uh, for my prediction grade for Central, man, not good at all. Sure, predicting the Hawks and Coyotes to be at the bottom was easy, but man, the Avs, what the heck? The Blues, what the heck? Even Nashville, um, and then Dallas being that good, Winnipeg being that good. Yeah, I didn't do very good with this one, so I gave myself a D, maybe a D plus on the Central. Yeah, not great. But anyway, so this is my new uh, mid-season mid-season rankings. This is now how I think the season's going to finish. I still own my preseason one, which I knew was going to be terrible, and it was for the most part. So for the Atlantic, I give myself a B minus. For the Metro, I gave myself a C plus. Pacific, I gave myself a C minus, and for the Central, I gave myself a D plus. Anyway, if you happen to watch this video, let me know how wrong I still am, because I know that it's not going to finish this way. I know that these ranks are going to be way off somehow too. Um, but yeah, uh, keep on watching our great sport of hockey, and keep supporting your team. Hopefully, they're doing exactly what you want them to do, whether that be getting a playoff spot or finishing at the bottom of the league, which is, I guess, the only thing I get to look forward to for the Blackhawks. Anyway, take care. Have a good one.